Here at SSO's customer service, we are unwilling and unable to help you with all issues and problems in the game. Because we don't really read your emails and we will bump you between employees to make your world even more difficult. And no matter what the problem, we will blame you and always tell you to uninstall and reinstall the game. And if that doesn't work, we will tell you to do the exact same thing. But don't worry, if you persist, we will most likely ban you, help you out, but only after around 50 emails. Thank you for contacting SSO. Enjoy the game! After reading dozens of customer service horror stories, I have come to the conclusion that SSO's customer service is structured in such a way as to be detrimental to their goal, basically helping you out. Whether this is because they are overwhelmed or just incompetent, I can't say. The extreme example I used above is really not that far off, but I would like to rather show you than tell you what is going on. So, let's start with bugs.
It just works. 10.
A week or so ago, I made a video about the bugged state of SSO and how those bugs are affecting players. I essentially put forth the idea that when a player's items disappear, it has less to do with the sharing of passwords or hackers and more to do with the broken state of the game. In short, you lose items because your account was bugged. I would like to make one thing clear. This video is not meant to frighten or upset you, but instead to help you. Should you ever open your account and your horses are missing, you at least have the comfort that you can contact SSO and ask them to reinstate your horses. That more or less was the point of the video, that if something like this happens, you have some steps you can take to get them reinstated, especially if you are innocent. SSO is a buggy mess of a game, and that wreaks havoc on accounts. And despite the atrocious state of the Halloween event and numerous bugs reported and recorded, they have not issued any sort of apology or statement. And even the t-shirt they gave us is an old design from 2017. Well done, SSO! But reporting bugs is part of MMOs and games. Eventually you're going to come across bugs and you're going to have to let the developers know about it so that they can fix it, which is their responsibility. But in SSO, if you report a bug, you can potentially get banned. I am not kidding. A user by the name of Wisteria contacted SSO in regards to a program that was being utilized in the game. Essentially, she was asking for them to patch the program and that she could send them the program so that they can kind of see how it can be patched. The user of the program was essentially making money out of the game and was enabling players to reach level 24, get the blue Connemara Z, and do animations that would not be otherwise possible. She makes it clear in the email that she is trying to help and that she has no problem in getting the program and sending it via email. Here is SSO's response. Thank you for contacting Star Stable. This game account is permanently suspended due to severe violations against the terms and conditions involving the use of a third-party exploit program. So they banned her for reporting a problem. She contacted them again, explaining to them that she hadn't used the program and that she was trying to help. And then they responded, "We thank you for being willing to help, but we have a dedicated team who are working on this and we appreciate your willingness to help. We are lucky to have players like you. Have a nice day ahead."
What?
She responded again, "Hello, I would like to wonder why you banned my account after I tried to help you resolve the cheat program issue." And that's it. They just never got back to her and they didn't actually reinstate the account despite never using a bugged program. So, in short, don't report shady activity, kids. It'll most likely get you banned. But as you can see, the same structure follows. You send an email, they don't read it, and send you a copy-paste response. She never stated she used it, she brought it to their attention, and due to their negligence in reading emails, she lost her account. Beyond unfair, really. Another user, Alexa, also reported the bug, this time about the dismount dance bug.
Jump up and down and move it all around. Shake your hand to the sound, put your hands on the ground.
Absolutely nothing to do with hacking or illegal programs, and yet they instantly accused her of such. This post is directly translated from a different language, so it's a little odd, but you'll get the gist of it. Thank you very much for reporting. Bugs and scams are not allowed in the game. Please note that if you use bugs, you can get stuck somewhere pretty easily. I would like to ask you not to try these, because they are strictly illegal, and you may be excluded. It is very important to us that you are no people in Star Stable who disrupt the gaming experience of others. We will look after the player as soon as possible. They made an assumption based on keywords in her email. Thankfully, Alexa did not get banned, but she was warned. Don't report bugs, kids. It can get you into trouble. Other bugs and issues are a bit more serious, and SSO's treatment of their players is once again downright atrocious. Xavier's story was an example I used in the previous video. If you recall, she could not see her friends for almost a whole month before it fixed itself. But how SSO treated her is really the main issue. I'm going to let her tell her story, as that's only fair and will lend some validation to the situation.
My issues with Star Stable Online's customer support started on the 9th of October, where I emailed their customer support letting them know that 1. My game wouldn't load, and 2. When it would load, I could not see anyone's messages, some NPCs did not show up. I couldn't access my home stable, and I couldn't change my horse for a long time. This actually didn't end until about a week and a bit after the birthday event ended. Over the time of my issues, I got so many copy and paste replies. You will see the copy and paste replies and how they completely stopped replying after the 21st of September. I was having the same issue on both accounts, both my main and my alternate. So there was no real difference, you know? Pretty much they did not respond to me, and whenever they did, it would either be dismissive, it would be a copy and pasted reply, or they would be telling me to factory reset my computer after I had done it twice to prove to them that it was not my computer, that it was the game. In all this, I lost a lot of important things on my computer.
She's not the only one to whom this has happened. Many other players have mentioned the same problem. They log in and the world is simply empty. This means that this is a rather common bug that they really should take more time to investigate. Another player had a similar problem, but different enough to mention on its own. Selma created a club in SSO and invited a friend, but they couldn't see each other. After a long struggle, checking that they were in the same server, that they were friends, etc., they finally contacted SSO about the problem. Here was their response. Thank you for contacting Star Stable. If you can't see your friend, it could be that you are placed in different servers. You can see which server you are playing on in the server tab of the My Account page. If you are in the same server, please make sure you haven't added each other to your ignore list. Original email, she made it very clear that they are on the same server, they don't have each other on ignore, but they still can't see each other. So she responded again, explaining the situation again, reiterating they are on the same server and no, they are not ignoring each other. SSO responded in the exact same way. If you can't see your friend, it could be that you are placed in different servers. You are so helpful, SSO. Just another runaround with no real solutions. Again, they don't read the email, making it far more difficult to find any sort of solution to the problem. Another user by the name of Corvus had a very interesting problem that is not isolated to her. This happens far more than you think. Essentially, when she wanted to buy Galloper Thompson's mare, she opened the buy option, checked the horse and bought it. When she checked her inventory, she noted she was missing a lot more star coins than she should be. She raced back to the stable only to find that the game bought the Toon Hoof, not the Fire Mare. She contacted SSO and explained to the situation. She wanted to buy the Fire Mare or Windfell. She definitely clicked on that particular horse as the text box showed her the stats and description of the Fire Horse. Yet after buying it, she got the skeleton quarter horse. And she just asks, can you please take the skeleton horse away from my stable and give me the fire Windfell instead? She's very frustrated. Star Stable's response is the bog standard. Within the terms of service, you agreed to open your account. It clearly says that you're responsible for looking after the safety of your account. This means they cannot replace lost star coins, items, or even horses bought by accident. We thank you for understanding. The problem with this statement is this is only valid as long as your game isn't broken. When your game becomes unstable, then it becomes your problem, Star Stable. But let's continue. So she writes again and she says that she would be fine if the tomb hoof was just replaced by the fire Windfell. She wouldn't even want the refund of this price discrepancy because she just wants the Windfell. She's terrified of trying to buy again and getting a second tomb hoof. Star Stable's response is the exact same thing. They cannot or unable to swap horses for players. Be careful in future. And feel free to contact us if you have any other query about the game. Really? Now Corvus kept pushing, telling them that she was very unhappy with the situation and that she just wanted to get the Windfell. Eventually Star Stable did say that they are very sorry, that she feels that they are not listening. Well, gee, we wonder why, Star Stable. How about you start listening? They say that as an exception, they will refund her the 950 star coins and that she just had to sell the tomb hoof immediately. Corvus sold the tomb hoof and she got her Windfell. Happy ending. Once again, as we can see, they shove the responsibility onto her, pretending that she simply made a bad purchase. And also, the people that she contacted kept switching out, making it very difficult to keep a line of query and finding a solution to the problem. Every time a new person reads the problem, it becomes a brand new problem. But she's not the first, nor the only person this has happened to. Another player by the name of Ziza had the exact same problem. I'll let her show you what happened.
So here's my story of how I literally lost maybe over 1,000 star coins. I tried to get a Palomino Pentavian. Then I ended up getting this in my stable. I went back to the Palomino, and it happened again. It's this same horse next to it. I did it at least 2 more times. Didn't work. This exact same horse. And I went to customer support, and well, they were basically saying, "Thank you for contacting. We're sorry, but unfortunately, our policy does not allow refunds. It's kinda your fault. Our players are responsible. It's kinda not my fault. There's some bug or something that was giving me the wrong horse 4 times. That is clearly not my fault." And I was hoping for my star coins, and after the second response, I asked, do I get it back? Can I at least, I said the whole story again. Can you help? I asked for help. I showed out evidence. And look at that. I get ghosted. Hooray.
Instead of shifting the blame over so quickly, Star Stable should, at the very least, start checking the accounts before deciding that the players are in the wrong. If they had, at least with Ziza, they would have seen the multiple purchases and would have noted a serious problem with one of their hitboxes. But this situation does show how horrible their customer service functions. It's bad enough that you keep switching between people, but it gets worse when those people don't actually read the emails. What this entire segment shows us is their clear incompetence in trying to help their players solve issues, and they have a lot of issues. As we showed earlier, there are a large amount of bugs that do need to be addressed, but they seem to be dragging their feet trying to get to them. And when they do get to them, they don't seem to fix them very well. The championship bug, which plagued Star Stable for a little bit, essentially you just could not do a championship, was fixed last week in a hotfix. However, after the bug was fixed, it turns out that there is a new problem that is cropping up. The championships are lagging now. And even the bugs that aren't that serious are still problematic for a lot of players. For example, the dismount dance bug, as I like to call it, actually ruins roleplays. Think about it. every time you want to record a scene and your friend is mounting and dismounting, you really can't record the scene. So even small bugs they really should be fixing to help players have fun in the game. But more and more people are reporting that when they report bugs, they are instantly warned not to use exploits, unless it's a Jorvik shilling bug, which they will patch instantly because, God forbid, they lose any money. So they just don't read the emails, which means the bugs are just growing in the game. It's an absolute mess is what it is. But they really need to start changing the system. Cookie cutter answers and responses are not the answer. But of course, this is only the tip of the iceberg and it gets so much worse. When a game sees issues with its account, it becomes a liability to both the player and the company. It's a seriously bad look if you can't protect the purchases of your customer. Why should we buy from you if you can't protect what we buy? And SSO's accounts have more problems than a sardine in a shark tank. A few years ago, players could actually physically log into each other's accounts by accident, and it took a while before SSO could deal with the situation. This speaks of a serious security problem in their accounts. SSO can and has been hacked in the past. They are not as secure as they would like you to believe, and they are not as safe. Don't fall for this line. A friend of Liv Opalrock could get into the game files within 5 minutes. He sent her some screenshots of the game files and told her that he could easily wreak havoc in these files if he wanted to. But is that really a surprise? How many people can edit and change the game files on their own whim? Adding snow effects, seeing spoilers, this is all part of hacking. SSO is not as secure as they would like you to believe. Don't trust them on that front at least. But this is a story for another day and one which I will discuss at length soon. With items now disappearing randomly from stables, it is safe to say the situation is not getting any better. But here are a few more cases of things disappearing if you think I am just exaggerating. A few years ago, a user who would like to be called Kitty wanted to get her email changed. She'd been a player for around 6 years. After some back and forth, she finally changed the email and logged in only to find that 3 hats, a pair of leg wraps, and 8 pets were completely missing. She first tried to get help through her original server in Hungary. They only told her that SSO was secure and that no one can get into your account unless they have a password. They also told her that no, you can't delete pets. Yes, you can. And that they can't reinstate the star coins and that she should just check her inventory again. Big help, thanks.
Thank you so much!
When she first went into the website to make a ticket, she also noted that her server had also been changed, and now she couldn't get back into her original server because it was closed. She couldn't contact her friends anymore. She goes on to say in her email that in the past, support had never been of much help. They used the same old template, copy-paste responses when she reported a problem, telling her that it's not the game's fault, but always hers. She also makes a point of stating that her password is 19 digits containing numbers, lower and uppercase letters. All of this she forwarded through to the English customer service server as she was having no luck in Hungary. Here is Star Stable's response in brief. No, you were not hacked. It's your fault. Don't share your password. Change it here. Make it a hard-to-guess password. Not our responsibility for missing items. Despite this happening directly after they changed their email, yes, SSO, you are responsible. It's your game.
You're an idiot!
They ask her for her full character name to check out what's going on. Better than nothing, I suppose. And the saga continues. Eventually, they offered to reinstate horses she sold, but make it clear it was a one-time exception and they cannot reinstate the items. She contacted them again. These items were rare. The silent frog you could only get via the recruiter friend, which is now not viable anymore. So rightfully she wanted them back. But here it gets really strange. She logged in again only to find the miscreant t-shirt missing, but the seal pet suddenly reappearing. She contacted SSO again to also send them along proof that she did in fact have the silent frog. And here is what they essentially responded. We noticed that you deleted these pets and the shirt is in your wardrobe. Frustrated, she then let them know that a red knitted sweater went missing again, she told support, and they replied, items cannot be sold accidentally. We see that you deleted this item.
You're an idiot!
By this point she gave up. Here we can see a clear instance of an account becoming unstable. It's not secure, it's losing and gaining and dropping items left and right. Despite showing proof that she had the frog, and repeatedly stating that she never deleted it, SSO simply pushed it onto her, saying that she deleted it, and that she is in the wrong, and that there is nothing wrong with the game. Always shifting the blame onto the customer. Well done, SSO. Years of dedication to the game came to a sharp and bitter end because SSO did not want, or perhaps could not, help her. But this isn't the only instance of accounts losing items. Many players have reported items going missing: horses, Jorvik shillings, and even star coins. Players have lost horses only to still hear them in the stable, logged into an empty stable only to log in later to find all those horses still there, sell horses and have them reappear a few months later. But that's the way it goes. The game is extremely unstable, particularly in your stable. On the topic of missing items, Jet Kitty, like other players, would find herself in the dreaded missing horses situation. She logged in to find all of her horses gone except her starter. Most of her items were missing, all of her Jorvik shillings and star coins as well. She'd been a loyal player for years, and when she contacted them, they had the same old response. Don't share all your password. Change it here. We cannot get hacked. This is your fault. Once again, shifting the blame onto the players. It's not always our fault, SSO. Sometimes your game is just broken. They did reinstate Jet Kitty's horses, but would not do so for her items and missing star coins. Another player logged into her account a few months back to find it banned. She had no idea what was going on and contacted SSO about the issue. Her account was essentially banned because there was an exploitation of a bug. The bug was used unfairly, which allowed the user to gain advantages. We thank you for understanding. Despite telling them numerous times that she hadn't even logged into the game, they did not help her and her account was kept banned. Now it becomes a little terrifying. I mean, I'm not logging into my account. Am I now going to get banned because I haven't logged in 3 months? Seriously? Another player had the same issue. They tried to log in only to find out that their account had been banned for refunds. But 3 random refunds were made into an entirely different currency. Despite explaining this, SSO refused to reinstate the fee refund until the money was paid in full. But this has happened to other players as well. Isn't SSO a fun place to be? Now, we can certainly say that some of these people might be making it up. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that. But still, with the amount of stories cropping up, it's becoming more and more difficult to just shrug it off as greedy players or opportunists. Once a chance, twice as coincidence, 3 times a pattern. But bugs account don't always mean problems for players. It can mean something good too, sometimes. Another player who'd like to remain anonymous has a far different issue than most. Her game launches as a free rider, but when she goes into the game, she is a full star rider. She has no monthly star coin allowance, but she can play as much as she wants. Let's not ruin it for her. But what this shows once again is that there are some serious bugs and problems and issues in the game, especially with the accounts. Rain Dragon decided to buy her boyfriend the Halloween bundle. They went into the website, saw the bundle, bought it, and waited a few days before paying. When he logged in, he hadn't received any of the items from the bundle. Obviously, they contacted SSO. In short, SSO responded that the bundle expired on the 9th. But when they went on the 10th, the bundle was still there. They essentially bought a bad bundle. And they couldn't even get the 30% off either because they essentially bought the lifetime during around 5 or 10 minutes where there was no offer. But it's just strange. How difficult is it to just be nice and say, hey, we're sorry that you missed this bundle, but seeing as he's a new player, we'll give him the bundle as a welcome to the game. It would give them such a good look and would make them seem nicer than they are. Good grief! It's stuff like this that makes it very difficult to care about them at all. We've seen a bunch of instances now where they ignore, ghost, or treat you like a fool, and then they expect you to continue to buy their products. And with all of these instances piling on, it really is starting to feel like the customer service and Star Stable by extension just don't care.
We don't even care whether or not we care.
Now, I don't blame the people who work at customer service. I blame the higher-ups who fill their heads with this type of crap. Your product is not perfect. It's a buggy mess that has ruined what should have been a good experience for many players. But unfortunately, it gets a lot worse. Now, before I continue, I want to make something very clear. I do not, nor will I ever, blame people at Star Stable Online for the problems in the game. I blame the CEO and upper management who let this happen, who allowed the game to fall into such a state. Developers, designers, and customer service workers are only there for a paycheck. They do not have the power to fix the problems in the game. It is not their fault, and I will never blame them. We all remember the situation of the girl who was plunged into debt after buying horses. No matter what you think about SSO, you can't deny that this was a serious glitch in the game, and it was SSO's responsibility to fix it. They had no right to shove it onto her. It was not her fault. Star coins disappearing is nothing new. Another player had an interesting bug where her total money would only show when she purchased something. But she couldn't buy anything above the amount that was shown. If her purse showed 100, she couldn't purchase above that until she bought something of, let's say, 50 star coins, and then she would miraculously see 1050. Invisible counting, that's getting weird. Another player lost around 5000 star coins only hours after she paid for it. And now recently a lot of players are coming forward with an allowance issue. They paid for lifetime, but they are not receiving the allowance. Lifetime does prompt weekly allowance, so that is once again SSO's problem to fix. Thankfully, it does appear that they are refunding people for these issues, so they are at least aware of it. But they should be more transparent about these types of issues, so that people will know that they can contact Star Stable should they not receive their allowance. On the topic of star coins, I want to make a brief statement on the lateness on the double star coin weekend. This has been driving me nuts. Now bear in mind, this is just a theory, but I think they're going to start weaning out the double star coin weekend in order to force people to buy star coins full price. They're going to make it a quarterly or bi-yearly occurrence to prey just a little more on the impatience of players. Think about it like this. If you know there is going to be a double star coin weekend every month, then you're going to hold out until then before buying. But if it could only be in 3 months and a new exclusive horse is coming out tomorrow that you really want, you're most likely going to buckle down and buy full price star coins, preying on impatience. Flushkin from Instagram brought something very interesting to my attention. Double star coin weekends was a rarity back in the day. It was usually, as she called it, a goodbye summer present to everyone, who had enjoyed the game up until that point. The reason for that is that star coin codes were pretty prominent. We got a lot of free star coin codes, and as a result, double star coin weekends weren't as needed. However, as they systematically started to wean out the star coin codes, more and more double star coin weekends started popping up to encourage people rather to buy than to only use their allowance. Now this is technically fair, they do need to make some money, but now that they are starting to wean out the double star coin weekends again, possibly, I'm wondering if they're going to fill that up with some star coin codes, but I do sincerely doubt it, because as we have seen with Star Stable, they are pretty darn greedy. But I digress. Let's get back to money problems. In the previous video, I told you all the story of Gasmask, whose money was being taken without her permission. Gasmask bought a full lifetime membership over 10 years ago. Then on the 7th of August, she noted that 109 crowns was being deducted from her account monthly. On the 7th of November, she contacted SSO and told them of the situation. Essentially, the bank told her the only way to stop the payments was for the company to stop them themselves. SSO had to stop the payments. And here's Star Stable's response. Thank you for contacting Star Stable. Could you please provide us with the order ID and the reference code of the purchases you mentioned? You can find the order ID in the confirmation email you received from Star Stable. She contacts them again, explaining that no, she does not have any sort of confirmation email because she made no purchase. This is an error on their side. She also makes it clear that that total corresponds with monthly Star Rider, but she has been a lifetime rider for many years now. She already sent a small video and she now forwards a couple of bank statements. She can also send them the credit card information, but she really needs this to be cancelled. And here is Star Stable's response. Thank you for contacting Star Stable. Unfortunately, we could not locate any payment with the information that you provided. To be able to assist you with your request, we have to locate the payment first, and for this, we do need to have a payment references for those transactions. They're not listening. She has not been making the payments. The payments are being deducted without her permission. So no, she's not going to receive any sort of confirmation email. They need to go into their accounts and delete the payments. But they're too lazy to go into the accounts and look for her credit card details and just cancel the payments.
You got the lazy. Am I going to die?
Star Stable continued to ignore her. They did not give her any sort of solid answer, and they refused to stop the payments even though she was showing them proof. It didn't matter what she said, it didn't matter what she tried, she got cookie-cutter responses and she couldn't get anywhere with them. And the sad end of the story, she had to shut down her account and get a new card because SSO refused to listen and refused to stop the payments. And she is not the only one that this has happened to. Xavier's sister went through the same situation where she was charged for a total of 6 months before they stopped the payments. And this is now happening with lifetime accounts. They will pay for lifetime and suddenly small deductions will be made from their account as if they had been paying for monthly Star Rider. And despite showing the proof of payments once again, these people cannot get these payments cancelled unless they shut down the account. As we have seen with the account issues earlier, SSO was very reluctant to do any sort of investigations on their end when it comes to problems in the game. So, the blame lies with you. It will always lie with you, no matter what you do, no matter how much proof you have. They will always revert back into their "we're always right" bubble and throw accusations at you until you go away. The best thing that you can do is pop the bubble. Before I continue, I'd like to amend a quick statement I made. I opened the previous video by stating that it is almost always SSO's fault when the game isn't working. This is not an entirely fair statement. As Annie pointed out in a comment, there can be a wide range of reasons for why a game doesn't work. SSO's executable file or game file has to be compatible not with a single computer but with a wide range of PCs and Macs that will have varying hardware and software programs. It's easy for programs to clash and for drivers to create issues when you try and launch. This is an instance, I suppose, of where I was too harsh on SSO and made a sweeping statement that was not entirely accurate. It's not always your fault, Star Stable. Sorry for saying that. My bad. But it is still their responsibility to help you fix the problem, and it does not excuse their poor treatment of players for pushing all problems onto the players, nor their incompetency. But how do you handle that poor customer service? How do you get them to listen to you when they don't want to? The best way I've found is to be persistent and patient. It's really that simple. Pushing them will get results. It has been proven time and time again. If you have a problem and you're certain it's not your fault and not your computer's fault, your best bet is to keep pushing and expect SSO to help you fix it. It is their responsibility, and be sure to remind them that you are a potential money bank and that if they lose you, they will lose your money. Speak to their pockets. That will usually work. Just always be polite and you'll see results. If you've lost horses, hound them until they reinstate them. If you've lost star coins, hound them until they give them back, and so on. Persistency is key, and you'd be surprised how many solutions SSO has to so many of the problems in their game. If you've lost your email and want to open your account, again, ask them to confirm that your current IP is the one that was used to be logged in with your account, and they can reopen the account. IPs can be recognized and used in this capacity. If your account gets banned for using cheat systems, ask them to see where the last login was and check that with your IP. Tell them where you live, explain to them you can't have been there, and if they still don't want to open the account, keep pushing. The last thing you should do is stop. And if they still don't want to help, you can contact someone with a voice on YouTube or Instagram and get some attention on the problem. A company doesn't like bad PR, and they might help you if you become a thorn in their side. When you have the situation of money being transferred to SSO, simply go to the bank, explain to them the situation, and ask them to open a case against SSO to refund the money. They will do so, and they will contact SSO, explaining to them that you had to open a case to get your money back. They should be quick on the trigger then, and at the very least, investigate on their end what the heck is going on. They will have to refund you. But no matter what the problem, no matter how big it is or how small it is, never give up. The second you give up, you lose. And be sure that you have some form of proof. It usually helps. These methods won't always work, but really it's the best shot you have. Now I'm going to add a caveat. You're going to get those players who are going to try and abuse this method to just get some free stuff. This will create two major problems. First, for the rest of the community, when players who have actual problems use this method, they will have trouble getting their stuff back because Star Stable might think they're lying. And secondly, you will cause a problem for yourself. SSO is not stupid, and they can check your account to see if you're lying, and you're going to get banned for trying to exploit the system, which you will deserve. In short, don't be an idiot.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
The community has enough problems without people trying to make SSOs and the rest of the community's experience even bloody worse. Star Stable's customer service, and the game by extension, is in an ugly state. As much fun as we make of them, we can't deny that this company just does not care as much as they should. The proof is in the pudding. They just don't have good customer service. Good customer service is the willingness to go the extra mile to help you fix your game. They will listen and try and test and think up solutions to help you out. That is what they're there for. They're there to ensure you have a good experience in-game and to help you as much as possible. They should never use cookie-cutter responses, because every person who contacts them about a problem in their game is unique, and they need to start remembering that again. There are of course instances where a cookie-cutter response is warranted, but that should never be the total norm. It should be used in certain cases, and you are supposed to care enough about your players to take their issues and concerns more seriously than just a cookie-cutter response. But really, the main thing, Star Stable, is read your damn emails.